to the end says, where people live or dwell in unity, there God bestows his blessings. And I want to echo the words of Mr. Munga. He said, the people are talking of people being poor. I want to say Proverbs 18:21 says, the power of death and life is in your tongue. So when we are calling ourselves poor as Kenyans, we are truly going to be poor, because that is the word of God, and it will come to pass. So let us stop calling ourselves poor, because we are not poor. God has blessed this country very much. Okay? And another thing I want to say is that Mount Kenya people, from wherever you are, I want to assure you, President Uhuru Kenyatta is still the president of this nation until the next president is sworn in. So have no fear. Let you not be threatened by anyone. Nobody will chase you from wherever you are. Kenya belongs to all of us. And wherever you are a Kenyan, you have a right. And remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta is still the president of this country until the next president is sworn in. Okay? And so we have peace in this country. That is just a by the way. We should not fear. We should not have fear. We should not be threatened by anyone. Wherever we are, our businesses will be safe. Our businesses will be secure. We'll be safe and we'll be secure wherever we are. And I'm speaking also as a prophet in this country. I pray, and as I talk, I am prophesying. 07, I remember very well, I used to go to the church every morning and lie down and cry to God, because God had revealed to me what will happen to this country. And if it were not for prayers, if it were not for His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't know where this country would be. And I also want to mention, on a light note, if there are debts to be paid, that debt should be paid to the OCA principals and not anybody else. Because the debt of 2007 is earlier than these dates we are talking about now. So let the past debts be paid past. Amen? Let me not take a lot of time, because the OCA principals has given me this opportunity, and I am very grateful to you to have given me this opportunity. And I know, seated with us among the 5, we will have the president of this country, the next president of this country. And so I'm saying, let us unite, and let us have no fear, and let us elect a person who will lead this country and lead it very well. Among the OCA principals, they are the only people who can stand and point on corruption, and corruption will not fight back to them, because corruption fights back. And there are people who can never fight corruption in this country. Even if they say they'll fight, they can't, because already they are corrupt, and corruption can fight back on them. Thank you very much, and may God bless you as we stand together in unity and in oneness. Thank you very much.
More clapping tafadhali for the senator. And at this point, this one we must comes to the podium. And this is no other than H.E. Kalonzo Musyoka. Wiper Party. Makofi. Makofi. There we go. Karibu.
Thank you. Elder Michael spoke of a beautiful Keritu, which is 8 million votes plus. And I'm reminded of a song we used to sing when we were young about that beautiful girl called Wairimu. I don't know whether the dancing teams are around still, because it's very exciting. It used to go like this. Ewairimu wamaitu tigana na kugal gakwendia kindu ewambui tigana na Ewairimu gakwendia kindu. Well, you see, Chairman Peter Munga and the directors, my brothers, fellow Kenyans, before I say a few things, and we agreed among ourselves that I'll go first, because in all practical aspects, I'm actually a part of the mountain. I'm only on the other side. If you go to Sekuru, you realize what I'm talking about. I'm just on the other side of the mountain, actually a great beneficiary of all the rivers that flow to Sekuru, Mutonga River, and all these rivers. But I thought before I proceed, I need to recognize some of the other leaders, national leaders actually, who have not been recognized because they may not hold elected positions in parliament. But these are party leaders, and I want, on behalf of Wiper Democratic Movement, because I think my brothers will do the same, to actually ask one of the deputy leaders to come and just be here with me for a minute, and our national chair, Ambassador Ali Makwere, former deputy speaker Farah Maalim, is a deputy leader. The other one is Bishakila Abdallah. She was not able to make the lunch. But you can see how national Wiper Democratic Movement is. Simutupigie makofi jamani. So I think the other one on that side, and the other deputy leaders were in the House. The deputy chair is Senator Mutula Jr., and the other deputy chair is Victor Swanya, all the way from Nyamira, is an advocate. And the other deputy leader is Ann Kanyi from Nyeri. That is the leadership team right here. But the others also, so that they do not actually deal with me after this. We have Winnie Kaburu, all the way from Meru, NEC member. We have Justus Wambutura, also from Meru, a very long-serving member of the party. And in fact, these things we are talking about power outages and KPLC. If you need expert opinion, Wambutura is always available. Muriuki Ntwiga from Embu, young man, very promising. I don't know whether he's here yet. Rehab Wangui Ndambuki, she's a NEC member. And Bishop Johnson Gichuki Muturi, Laikipia, is in the house. Just shout wherever you are, thank you. And then Bishop John Paul Thiongo, actually the one who prayed for us, and he lost his dear wife just the other day. Where's Bishop Thiongo? We still empathize with you, dear brother. And then we have Samson Kinyanjui from Kiambu. He's also there. And then Bernard Chege Muranga. Where's Bernard? I saw him. Yeah, you're there. Thank you. And then we have Naftali Kimuri from Nyeri. Naftali. Peris Nyakwera Kabue from Nyeri. Lucio Ambui Karanu from Kiambu. John Dungu Nyandarua. And the others, I think we've been able to point out. I thought for a moment that Deputy Governor Nyeri was Wiper. We have been in very constant communication with that wonderful lady. Ladies and gentlemen, I think my friends, you can now sit. If we had time, these are people with tremendous, tremendous experience in matters national and the need to maintain national unity, cohesion, stability. Ladies and gentlemen, As I said, I'll be the first to go to invite my other friends. And I want to tell you that the story given by Peter Munga is a true story. And I'm so happy, Chairman, that you are bold enough to have shared it. Because, yes, you came to our house in 2007, but that was following the story of ODM Kenya and the story of oranges. And we were faced with an election like we now have one, which is imminent. And those friends representing the mountain region, forgetting I was one of them, came to try to plead with me. And we reasoned, like Canon Karanja said, come let us reason together, quoting the Bible. We reasoned, and they left early in the morning. The result is what he has talked about. Our country blew up, and somebody somewhere to stand in the gap. We stood in the gap, I believe myself, because it was our democratic right to run for any elective office. Had we not done it, this country would probably be worse than Somalia. But we thank God, He's a God of all flesh, and Kenyans stood together. Where everybody expected that the country was going to fall apart, we did pick ourselves together. But the story was painful. And I want to agree with Prophetess Madam Agnes, Senator Agnes Kavindu, that will never happen again. And I'll tell you the reasons. One of the legacy projects of President Kibaki was Constitution 2010. We need to give Mzee Kibaki a loud clap, because without him, we are assembled today because of the reality of that very fundamental historic document, Constitution 2010, which guarantees the rights and freedoms of all Kenyans. The right to establishment, the right to own property, the right to enjoy the same, and the right to be able to settle in any part of the country and call it your home. My friend, Brother Titus Zibui, talked about the Gema nation. You have another nation out there. These are Kenyans abroad, Kenyans in the diaspora, who every year, if you were to talk to the central bank governor, he will tell you every year so much money. And I hope our friends actually out on the outer room, somebody, I think they need a prefect, because either they're having some tea or some nice conversation, because I consider this important. They can be part of our audience. It would be wonderful. You may be invited, so many of us, we came, we overflew, we are out there, we are enjoying your goodies. Thank you for this generosity. Typical generosity of our brothers from the mountain. Now they are together with us. I wanted to say, the Kenyans in the diaspora are an important component, and under the Constitution, they are supposed to participate in election 2022. So as we speak to you from this historic hotel, the Safari Park Hotel, we're also talking to Kenyans in the diaspora, and I know many of them are from the mountain region. The other day I flew from Dubai via Qatar. I was received by an excited group of Kenyans. In fact, Qatar Airways and the other Emirates Airlines, between them, employ thousands and thousands of Kenyans. And they will be voting this time. So allow us, through connectivity, the internet, to talk to Kenyans wherever they are. So Peter Munga, your audience is bigger than you could imagine. Therefore, what are we trying to say as Oka? Our vision is simple. An all-inclusive nation where nobody is left behind. Waithera, I guarantee you, where you will never be left behind on account of disability. My little girl Kirote from Ma, Muga, Natoana. You know, the other day I got into a lot of trouble. I said that I'm a Mutharaka or a Mumeru, and friends from Makueni took me on. We always suspected. Of course, I'm not. My mother and my late father, they're all known. But that's what I mean by the fact that I'm a part of the mountain. I went to primary school with the Rakas, with Merus. In fact, the last Meru I met was Mtamakembo. The trouble with Mtamakembo is he had also jingas with him. So ukiangalia miguu yangu niko namna hii wakati mwingine. So we are one people. And as we speak to the mountain, we are speaking to the nation. And I declare myself a Kenyan. I'm Kamba by birth, but a Kenyan, a real Kenyan at heart. And I'm talking to my friends. If I go out, I went to Somalia, and I think if Ambassador Faye will be here, he will confirm to you. When we're trying to put the Somali nation together in Baghdadi, the main, the guys, I mean, the people were at loggerheads with each other, were the main community. Also Somalis speak Kisomali. They are all Muslim. But because they belong to different sub-clans, they can't live together. I declared myself a member of the Digli Mirifli community. Because the Awiyas and the Darots were the majority. It's even a 0.5. My friends, I'm talking to you as one with experience in bringing the region together. A believer in regional integration. And I know what the people of the mountain want is to be given opportunity. I don't know whether we realize as Kenyans that not all are great friends. There's great regional and international competition. Right now, thanks to the appointment by President Uhuru Kenyatta, I'm trying to put together the people of South Sudan. I've tried to do the best way I can. From the days of the comprehensive peace agreement, spearheaded by Mzee Moi, may God rest his peace, his soul in peace, Mzee Kibaki, all of them, President Uhuru told me, these are your people, help them. And the same words were reported, actually repeated to me by President Moi before he slept. Do you know that you, Titus Ibui, when I last checked, you are the chairperson of LAPSET. That corridor, and I was there with Mzee Kibaki when we launched the Lamu Port Initiative. And the late Meles Zenawi, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, was there. President Salva Kiir of South Sudan was there. And of course, President Mwai Kibaki, and all of us. That project is a life-changing matter in terms of regional integration and great benefits to the people of Kenya, and particularly the mountain people. Because you are the entrepreneurs. There are over 10,000 Kenyans in South Sudan as we speak. And when things went wrong in 2013 and 2016, they were all kind of thrown out of South Sudan. Our truck drivers who ply the route between Mombasa through Nimule and on to Juba, most of them have a lot of relationship with the people of the mountain. Hard-working Kenyans. Therefore, instead of looking down on the mountain, we should be able to say we should all be like Peter Munga. And you know me, I was unhappy that I'm being invited by Tycoon. And even the 411, it says, Oka chiefs are being received by Tycoons. Now you are happy. We must clap and thank God for Peter Munga and people like James Mwangi. Because these are the wealth generators. And you are trying to imbue the same sense of responsibility to the young ones. Konza City is a Vision 20. And giving credit to Mzee Kibaki, will you spare me just at 20%? Because you all know how closely I worked with Mzee Kibaki. I'll tell you some truth, which I'm saying for the first time publicly. It was me who convinced Mzee Kibaki to appoint President Uhuru Kenyatta the Deputy Prime Minister. Because Mzee Kibaki was as a nationalist, he told me, Vice President, you want me to appoint another Kikuyu? Because remember the Kofi Annan talks when Raila appointed Mudavadi, and then I was in the PNU alliance with Kibaki, and we needed a strong hand. I told him, yes. Then Uhuru became Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade. Eventually, Minister for Finance. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance. From whence he grew all the strength to become the president. I think he also owes me one, on a light note. But we're not here, Senator Agnes, to talk about paying political debts. I don't believe in that. I believe in working hard. Be nationalist. Whatever God has placed in your hands at any given time, do it well for the benefit of this nation. And so, we want to grow the economy of this country. The youths in Mount Kenya, just like youths elsewhere, than Kirotes, will find a lot of hope in Konza City. Do you know, we are just about to develop the equivalent of MITC, what is it, the MIT. Yeah, MIT in the US, which was like the incubation center for growth of American industry. Thanks to the fact that President Kibaki and I must claim a little credit, through the Presidential Economic Advisory Team, brought in a Korean. No wonder we even talk about nuclear science. And in Konza very shortly, you will have an equivalent of MIT, because the Koreans have just started going to break ground for the equivalent of MIT. Don't say it is in Ukambani. It is a project of all Kenyans. And Mount Kenya youth, as hardworking as they are, the Vision 2030, they will benefit. We have to grow this economy in real terms. Ladies and gentlemen, I can talk on and on, because we're not here to please our friends from Mount Kenya. They are Kenyans. But you know, charity must begin at home. I have a vision. Did you know that my community actually gave the name, the Kenyan name, through Mount Kenya? Kenya. Do you know that Kirinyaga and Kenya is a Kamba name? Clap for me. That's what it is, Kenya. Kirinyaga. Do you know I have relatives in Kirinyaga? Bank, yeah, and his brother Kirinyaga. 30% of people, residents of Kirinyaga, are actually from Kitui, Senator Ambua's place. So we are one and the same people. And so when young man Samaj, a young talented Kenyan, sang the Mudhanua song, I'll be going everywhere in the mountain, we'll be talking about Mudhanua, in real terms. Therefore, I'm here to present to you as one of you in every respect, and urge you to walk this journey of Oka. We understand, Titus, and I must conclude, your clarion call for unity of purpose. I don't believe in fear. I believe in the future of this nation. And whichever leader comes and tries to sow discord and something, Kenyans have come of age. I just want to urge that they come out now. The 70% youth in Kirote, take out your vote. Let Kenyans come out now in the time frame given. Take out your vote, register as voters, and believe in your nation. If people must come and bribe you, because in Oka, we believe really in zero tolerance to corruption. Give us that opportunity. Give us that opportunity. And you will be amazed if we will not draw a red line and say you cross it at your own peril. We are a very united team. And we also say, Chairman, Oka is open. We do not have the monopoly of ideas. But we think that united, this nation will stand together. That's why you saw us today having tea with our sister, Mother Karua. That's why you saw us going to see our brother, Surya, in hospital. And we wish him quick recovery. That's why we are saying we are moving. We are moving with such speed, you will not believe it, to unify this nation. But you're also asking to believe in our program. Believe that one of the founding principles, our mission statement, is inclusivity, where nobody is left behind. And we also say that we are a nation under the rule of law. Sometimes we have seen some serious discrepancies when it comes to the application of the rule of law. Some of us are senior counsel. My brother Weta is a senior advocate. We are officers of the High Court. We would want to see a nation that works very, very closely, the three arms of government, so that we can pull the citizens together. And for me, Mount Kenya, my final comment, agriculture. I love agriculture. In fact, I call that agriculture, because my brothers who talk to the other subject, is the green gold. I also believe in working as hard as the people of the mountain, the other side of the mountain. I work very hard from the lower side. And therefore, 24-hour economy. You heard me talk about that in 2007 when you came. I told you, we need to work. A post-COVID Kenya must really roll up its sleeves and work and create employment opportunities for our people. I believe out of the 47 counties, and you are 11 of them in the mountain region, you should not be counting 1 or 2 factories. We must industrialize. At that, we talk about uchumi marudufu. Uchumi marudufu. Tufanye kazi kwa bidii. Tuokoe nchi yetu. We are thankful to God that this COVID thing is going away. I wish it goes and goes forever, 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 so that Kenyans can realize their full potential. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go on. We are not here to present our memorandum, our manifesto. We'll be doing that. Brother Gideon had a fantastic delegates conference of KANU. Na zote tukatingiza kidole. I launched my campaign secretariat the other day. I'm yet to call my delegates conference. And I know that Musalia and Weta and Cyrus is like a hurricane. I really admire Cyrus Jirongo's energy. A real hurricane guy, impatient to get his country together. This is a team we are presenting to you today. And I want to ask members, if there are some members of the SKM Command Center, to please stand. The Command Center team. Yeah, that is Joey. I don't know whether it's from Homa Bay or from Kisumu. That is Rodney Okoth. Yeah, he's actually leading that little team. And you have not heard of Mkamba amongst them. This is how serious we are. If we are going to put this country together, we have to demonstrate, live it. So that instead of the 2000 gender rule, Madam Purity, please hear me. Some of us believe in 50-50 government. 50% women and 50% men. Governor Ambora has just been praising President Kagame because Kagame's government is really dominated by the other sex. Therefore, we must have this equality of consideration. And so this is it. I believe that is the nation we are all trying to build. I must thank you for listening to me. We'll have time to come back and talk. We'll go to the villages and see your macadamia. Yes, macadamia, avocados. But please don't put down all the plants, the coffee and the tea. I celebrate former Governor Peter Munya doing tremendous work in trying to revive the coffee and the tea sector, including KPSU. Of course, you are working with President Uhuru Kenyatta. We recognize that as a kingpin. Sometimes I wonder, people of the mountain, if you are to drive from here to Angige Market, drive from even Kiambaa and wherever, surely, people of Mount Kenya, wouldn't you even have the goodness to thank your leader for doing tremendous work? I always give the example of the expressway from Mulolongo to Wayaki Way, the example of how you can work 24 hours, because those people are working. Let us also check what it is we can borrow even from the Orient people and work as hard as we can. 24-hour economy, uchumi marudufu. But don't pull down Peter. I think that the elders, Michael, do not know how to hand over the coffee plantations to the young ones. Now you are pulling down everything and putting real estate. Tutakula nini? To fikiri on that, and we balance, so we can understand the poor prices of these commodities. Some of us are international leaders, and we will make sure we get the markets for our crops. Thank you. Gideon, tukaribishe ndugu Gideon. You know, we must learn to relax. We must learn to relax. Today Gideon came wearing a tie. And he told me, see, I have a tie. Congratulations, this is a Kanu tie. Welcome, ndugu, and once again, congratulations.
Umesoma uongozi toka kwa Baba Moi, iongoze chama cha KANU, iongoze iende mbele, tunakuamini Gideon Moi, sisi hatufichi, wa Kenya tumekubali, tunakutaka uwe rais.
Thank you. Asanteni. My co-principals who are here today, our host, Mr. Munga, who's the chair of the foundation, Mount Kenya, the deputy chair, Titus, my colleague senators who are here, members of parliament, governors, and all distinguished guests who have gathered here today. Today, I will be extremely brief. Why? Because we were given a debriefing by none other than Titus, who told us, do not come here and tell us or espouse or expound your economic models. So that we know. Talk to us about unity. So I told him, if it's about unity, tutamalize mkutano in half an hour. But just before I jump onto that topic of unity, let me first recognize members of Chama Chetu cha KANU who have come here. I just ask you to stand, please, led by Secretary General Nick Salat, ambaye ni mtu ya ndani. George Wainaina, who is our Executive Director, Sitoyo from Narok, Kajiado, our NEC member, Betty Adere from Kisumu. And she's the chair of our women wing. Angela Gitahi, lovely lady, is there, another from Nyeri, our KYC. And of course, we've got members of parliament who are here, and many, many others. So please, thank you very much all for coming for this important meeting. I do not want to touch on the economy. I think others will come behind me or after me will touch on it, except to say that we fully understand as OCA the importance of having a conducive environment for people to do their business. That we understand. We understand, and you'll hear some others talk about it, that we need a consistent tax policy. And you'll be very surprised to know that in Kenya today we do not have a tax policy. But we need a predictable tax policy. You don't want tax policies which come in like what now has happened in the fuel prices. You'll hear about that. You'll hear about agriculture. You'll hear about how we're thinking about GMR. And you'll hear so many other facets of the economy which will be talked about. But I think what you are interested in is exactly what we are interested in. That it does not matter which economic model we present to you. It does not matter. We can give you the most and the best economic model here. But let me assure you, it will be pointless if we are not in power to carry out, it will not, those policies. And you cannot wish it, that it will happen. Things do not just happen. It is made to happen. And every one of you who is here today must take responsibility for that. We've decided to take ours. We will do what has to be done. You too must take your responsibility. Sitting here, I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted. I'm not here to persuade you that OCA is the best movement to support, or those who are not supporting you nowhere are the best. No. You know why you're sitting here, why you made up and sacrificed your time to be here. And this journey which we want to go has to be a two-way journey. We do our part, you do yours. As KANU, where I'm the chair, back in the day in '63 and before that in the 50s, a Herculean task was performed. And that task was lowering the Union Jack and raising the Kenyan flag. Sacrifices were made. The majority of those who made those sacrifices came from the mountain. Blood, suffering was shed. It happened. My plea to you, what your forefathers did, what our forefathers did, let us not waste it away. Let us not do that. And I can assure you, in a blink of an eyelid, if we are not careful, this country can go down that slope where you heard the governor talking about what happened in Rwanda. Yet, we have the means and the resources and the intellect and the persuasive powers to talk to our people and tell them this is not the route to go, but this. Somebody mentioned today when we had a meeting that if you look at the menu today which has been offered, it's not a menu about this versus that. If you look at OCA, that is a rich menu which is there. And by the way, we are not saying that we are excluding anyone from the march that we've set out. All are welcome. All, and I mean it and we mean it, all are welcome. Adui tunajua. All are welcome. At the end of the day, the Kenyans will make their choices. For you, what I said during the inauguration, not inauguration, sorry, I'm running ahead of myself there. During the our ideology, which is the same as OCA, our ideology is simple. You should have control of your life and your livelihood with minimal interference from government. Our obligation as a government is to, or government obligation is to look after the poor, and marginalized, and remove the burdens that prevent a majority from prospering. Period. That is the job of government. Get off the back of the people, let them continue on doing their work as they can, and you know your role in what you have to do. And that is what OCA stands for. So, as I conclude, Titus, you've said your part. Michael, I think, talked because we're neighbors in Laikipia. And he said that you have one girl, uko na msichana, ambayo hao wanaume waine ambao watano hao ndio wanamtaka. And you said you cannot give to sisi watano, si ndio? Unajua, kwa hao watano mimi ni kitinda mimba. I'm the one who's the most energized and the youngest. So, unaniwachia mimi nitangulie. Go and sit down. I would like to ask you all, adui yenyu. Najua nikishika kichwa utavumilia mateke. God bless you all.
All right. Makofi ingine kwa KANU moto. Oh yes. Mimi ni dume kabisa. Alinisimamia huko Senate mara 2 peke yake. Asante sana Gideon, asante. Kwa sasa, let's have another very energetic party leader, Cyrus Jirongo.
Thank you. Chairman Munga, Bwana Imbui, the leaders who are gathered here together, particularly from Parliament, our friends from the mountain region. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank all of you, particularly those who organized this day and have given us the opportunity to come and talk to you. We've gone through very many elections in this country. And when I was coming here, I asked myself, what is the difference this time that there is so much concern from the leadership and the business community from Mount Kenya region that they have decided they should meet those they think might produce the next leader in this country. And I thought through it. It became very clear to me. Because where I come from, we really don't understand tribalism. We voted for Kibaki, you know it. We voted for the late Kenneth Matiba. Ask Raila, we have voted for him very many times. And generally, it has come to a point whereby the rest of the country thinks these people called Iluyas are just a voting machine. And we have decided this time around that we want, first of all, to work together as a community, just the way you are thinking about the Mount Kenya community. And that's why we are 3 of us here. And we will offer, not all of us, but one of us, to be part of the leadership of this country. Because we know that every number counts at this critical moment. Wambora, I met him long time ago when I was a young man. Wambora was personal assistant to the late Hezekiah Nelson Oyugi. And the former PC who is seated there will tell you quite a bit on the history of this country, Kagudi. That it started like something small in the village, a family fighting. In 2008, it became the entire Rift Valley and spread up to the Coast Province, Nyanza, and everywhere else. We are here, if I have to be blunt, because there are deep-seated fears, particularly amongst Kenyans today. In the Rift Valley, when you have had clashes, it has been toeni au ngoeni, walikuwa wanaita nini, kwekwe, communities that don't belong or should not belong to the Rift Valley. This has been changed. They have now created another tribe in Kenya called the rich and the poor, using exactly the same strategy. That I must identify an enemy and I must label that enemy and use it for my own benefit. Na mimi ningependa kuwauliza nyinyi watu wa Mount Kenya, hatuwezi kuchukulia yale yanafanyika katika taifa letu kwa mzaha, na hatuwezi kusema tuko na muda, kwa sababu vijana wetu wamepakwa uchafu katika vichwa vyao. Na yale mambo yote mnazungumzia ya uchumi hapa haina maana kama hatutakuwa na Kenya kesho. If we don't have our country tomorrow, all you are discussing here is a waste of time. Even if we talk on how we look at our natural resources, invest capital in it, create employment for our youth, it will not happen unless we have a peaceful Kenya. You all must resist the tribalism that has been used before to create chaos in this country, to be apt to a point where you now have identified another tribe called the Haves and created another one, the Have-Nots, just to perpetuate the same crimes you have perpetuated all through. Right from the Rift Valley, now you've brought it to the national level. And this, we cannot continue to pretend. We've got to face it now. We've got to engage the youth now, and we need to talk to them now, remove what has been put in their heads. Lazima tuitoe. We are not here because Mount Kenya as a tribe wants to know what will be on the table. A majority of you have it on the table. There are areas in this republic where people don't eat. So you are here because you are wondering, after next year's election, will I sit in my sitting room? Will I have my meal? And a key lies with all of us. First of all, let us not have a preferred leader. All these people are capable. When the Mount Kenya look like they are our preferred leader, you create a lot of dissent in the hearts of my brothers here. Because Kalonzo has spoken. He has been key when you needed him. I have told you as a community, sometimes we think we are a voting machine. We voted for everybody. Why we are here is the fear of Kenya burning tomorrow. And this, we have to work on it. We have no other Kenya, we only have one Kenya. We have no other home, the only home we have is called this Kenya. Leo ukienda katika Mlima Kenya, kabila iko huko haielewi jambo lingine, kwa sababu wameambiwa huyu hako naye atanyang'anywa, watapewa. And we have seen such a leadership. In the neighborhood, there was a dictator who came in and said foreigners must go away. And you know, every Ugandan clapped at that time. They forced out the Asian community. They forced out all the investors. And it did not take long before that country melted to zero. So you understand the dangers that we are facing today. We need to educate our people. And let me tell you, a hungry person to be manipulated is very easy. The performance of our economy has caused our young people to be manipulated very easily. We do not have a lot of time for prolonged discourse. We have time to go to the ground, educate our young men and women, let them understand we do not have another country. And that is only possible if we remove selfishness out of this leadership. Some of them amongst us. We must agree we have to go forward as a united front for the sake of this country. Now, if you refuse to play your role because it must be you, you are just as an enemy as the enemy you are discussing here, because you are not offering a solution. You must agree to play whatever role you will be given as a leader for the sake of the unity of our country. Munga will not provide employment tomorrow if we have chaos in this country. Neither will Mwangi carry Kenyans to DRC for them to look at business opportunities if there are chaos in this country tomorrow. You are here because you are scared something wrong is happening. Way forward. Let us go to the ground. You people must never have a preferred candidate. Let all of us work as a team, and at the right time, Kenyans will see who is this so qualified to take us through this very risky period. I want to urge all of you, and the problem is coming from the mountain, don't have preferred candidates. I have told you, as a community, we have demonstrated many times that we can vote for any Kenyan. What do you expect us to feel as a community if you come fronting somebody else who maybe has just voted for you once, not because he wanted to vote for you, but circumstances forced him to vote for you? And us who voted for you because we believed in you, we are treated like these ones are cheap. After all, they are divided, they'll just come and vote for us. Musiwe na wale mnapendelea. Na sisi tuko tayari kufanya kazi pamoja. Na wale ambao wako nje na wale ambao wamekaa hapa. This team is a demonstration of ability to work together. Sisi tuko hapa team. Ile nyingine mlikuwa naye hata kubwa zaidi, ilikuwa mtu mmoja. Timu ilikuwa nani? So nani anapenda umoja? Ni hawa au ni wengine? Kwa hivyo nawaomba muwe wa kweli kwa roho zenu, msichukue kiza kimoja mkifanye kionekane ndio cha maana zaidi. Ati wote tulishikana mikono. Hapana. Sisi tuliwapigia bila kushikana mkono. The Luyas were a majority in voting in Kibaki, more than Central Province. We did not have a handshake. We are willing Raila to be our president tomorrow if the program is fair. You must be willing, Musalia or Kalonzo or Gideon, to be a president tomorrow, because all of them are being treated equally and fairly. Musikuja na preferred candidate, mutaharibu kabisa. And that's all I came to tell you. Mungu awabariki.
All right. Na sasa, asante United Congress Party, wewe unaongea mambo ya unity. Mwisho kabisa, we are here to listen to all of you, to listen to all the leaders, alafu tutaamua. We have not made a decision as yet. Kwa hivyo usiwe na wasiwasi. Kwa sasa, let's hear the party leader of Ford Kenya, none other than the famous Senator Wetangula Weta. Mara moja.
Hamjambo wote, hamjambo tena. God is good and all the time. My good friend Peter Munga and the foundation you lead, Titus, and all the hosts of today, my colleagues from Oka, our members of parliament, and the many leaders here assembled, including a strong team from the mountain. We are here to engage. And to engage, we must free ourselves, think openly, freely. Barack Obama said, you cannot shake hands with a clenched fist. We'll shake hands with open arms. And we are happy that you invited us. You invited us to talk to us and us to talk to you. And this kind of engagement is critically important for a public discourse and conversation in this country. I want to tell you, our Mount Kenya brothers and sisters, don't live in fear, don't fear to live, because this is your country. And this country belongs to all of us. When Bwana Waigwa was talking, he mentioned about people from Mount Kenya who are out there in the Kenyan diaspora. Bwana Waigwa, in Trans Nzoia, the ruling party is Ford Kenya, led by yours truly. And among the CEC members, we have a young girl from Kiambu as a minister in Trans Nzoia. In embracing other Kenyans and actualizing the constitution, that devolution did not balkanize our country, but enhanced diversity and unity. And we'll continue doing that. In 2007, 2008, when this country was on fire, when people were running helter-skelter, the county I represent of Bungoma became a refuge for the people from Mount Kenya. They moved in, settled in 2 months. We had more than 10,000 Mount Kenya origin residents moving into Bungoma. They acquired property, they invested, they live very happily with us. And you Mount Kenya brothers and sisters are very lucky. You have produced 3 presidents for our great republic. And I'm very happy, Bwana and your team, that this time round you've come to a very positive realization that this country has many communities, many regions, and is desirable to rotate and share opportunities of leadership. What you are telling us, and we agree with you, is if it comes your way, what do you do with it? What do you do for us? What ring fencing will you give to our country? Not to any individual, because I believe that an opportunity available to a Mount Kenya citizen in this country must be equally available to an El Molo in Loyangalani, must be equally available to somebody from Kwale, from Iteso, from everywhere. That is the Kenya we want. Today, when you go to our homes, most of our children don't speak what we commonly call mother tongue. They have just one language, English or Swahili, and they're just Kenyans. Sheng is a corruption of one of the two. We want to build a country where opportunities are available to everybody, regardless of your background. I just came from US yesterday, and I met a gentleman from Meru in a Kenyan convocation in Los Angeles. And he showed me a deep wound and crack on his head. And he told me, I was hit on the streets of Nairobi when we were fighting for the Constitution. I was locked up. I fled the country. I will not come back. I told him, please, if you want to come back, Kenya is different. Today, we are fighting with ideas, not with the stones, not with the sticks, and God forbid, not with guns. The Kenya we want is the Kenya we must create. There are no angels that will descend on our country to create our country. It is us. Like Kennedy said, don't ask what your country is doing for you. Ask yourself, what are you doing for your country? And we look at Mr. Munga here. He created Equity Bank from a microfinance to the largest bank in this country and in this region. We must salute him. And Julius Nyerere once said, these Chinese, they're 1 billion. They produce enough food, feed themselves, and give us some as aid. Surely they must have something for us to learn from them. So when you look at Mr. Munga, surely there must be something we can learn from him. And that he has given us his quality time to sit here and talk about our country is something worth to behold. And we as OCA come to you, the Mount Kenya brothers and sisters, to tell you that we believe in equity, we believe in freedom, we believe in hard work, and we believe in just rewards for hard work. you have the right people with you. Don't worry about us coming in a big number. In fact, in social life, there's security in numbers. So when you see 4 or 5 of us, don't worry. At some point, there will be the first among equals. And the first among equals will not be exalted because he's the first. He will be a person of humility, acceptability, and above all, the vision and the mission to change this country. We have walked a journey. I have also a story to tell about my relationship with Mzee Kibaki. I'm sure you from Mount Kenya know that in 2007, without me and Mother Karua, who are with Mzee Kibaki, hii kiti ingeenda. Munajua, mzee alikuwa amezingirwa. Mimi na msichana wenu Mother Karua tulisimama kidete. Mzee Kibaki akanituma nikaenda Ghana, nikaleta chairman wa AU John Kufuor, then the president. Nikarudi, akanituma nikaenda nikaleta Kofi Annan. Nikarudi, wakati mambo ilikuwa imeshindikana kabisa, akaniambia kimbia Tanzania ulete Jakaya Kikwete. Nikaenda. So I also have my own paragraphs and chapters in the history of this country, that when the chips were down, I stood up to be counted. I didn't exalt myself thereafter. I remained what I am. And I do believe in all sincerity that Gideon Moi or Kalonzo or Mudavadi or myself or whoever in our team will be able to be given the mantle to carry. The rest will say it is part of the team. Because you know, when you go to play football, and me ni mutu ya Arsenali, if you only reward the person who scores, then the goalkeeper will never get a reward. Because the goalkeeper will never have an opportunity to score, but he is guarding the ngome uko nyuma. So everybody is important. There's a saying in my community that your upper lip is a very small portion of your body, but cut it off and stand before a mirror and see how bad you look. So every cog in the wheel counts. And Mount Kenya, here we are with open arms, telling you that come we engage. And as we engage, we want to give you an assurance that never again shall a Kenyan rise against a Kenyan because of politics. You know, the newspaper said many times about Mount Kenya that you are restless, that you are anxious, that you are frightened, that you are fearful. We stand here to tell you, Munga and the team, fear no more. You are in safe hands. And this team, I can tell you, my brothers and sisters from Mount Kenya, we are tested, we are tried, we are proven, we are trusted, and we can deliver. We have a trailblaze of delivery. And I want to tell you that, you know, when we go to the next elections, don't be overawed about what is going to happen. Imbui here said, we want only one thing, peace. And as we talk to you, we want to urge the government of the day, because we are hearing war drums as we go to elections. We are hearing people speaking recklessly about leadership. We are hearing people nearly saying, kama si mimi ipasuke. Those are dangerous people. Those are undesirable people. Those are misfits. And those are people that are not wanted to lead this country. We must be ready to say, if it is not me, my brother is as good as myself. Lakini kama wanakimbia wanasema, mimi nimechukua, nimeenda nayo, nimefanya nini, unaweza kujigamba, alafu mwisho ujipate taabani. Ninyi ndugu zetu, nikimalizia, nataka kuwaomba. You are the controllers and owners of capital. And I've seen you, Bwana Munga, in the past, support big movements. Don't watch the wind to see if flag inaenda namna gani, because you know us and you know them. If you've made up your mind that you want to work with us, we are ready. If you've made up your mind that you want to walk this journey with us, we are ready. If you made up your mind that we are partners, we are ready. If you made up your mind that for us to have a cake for Kenyans to share, we must bake it together, we are ready. Kila mtu atachangia, ule wa kuni, ule wa unga, ule wa kiberiti, ule wa maji, ule wa sukari, ule wa mwiko, ule wa kijiko, ule wa sahani, kila mtu. Then we'll have a cake on the table. Then we can be able to talk about a one big happy family called Kenya, where nobody is in want, where the mention of a name does not send shivers down the spine of others, and where Kenyans are free to move from Mount Elgon and settle on Mount Kenya and vice versa. From the shores of Lake Victoria to the shores of Indian Ocean and vice versa. Tukifanya hivyo, ndugu zangu, we'll leave a legacy to our children, to our grandchildren, and to generations to come. That is called leaving this world better than you found it. And that is what we must do. I want to end by acknowledging the OCA Secretariat that nobody has mentioned. We have an OCA team here. You can stand up to be acknowledged. The boys and girls that have put us together. And we have supplicated ourselves to them and told them, be our managers, advise us, talk to us. We'll make the decisions as we move forward. Thank you. As a party of Fort Kenya, I also came with my members of parliament who are introduced, but I want to mention Dr. Chris Wamalwa here, the presumptive governor of Trans Nzoia County 2022. My other MPs, there was Nasir Sahal from Wajir, I don't know if she's here, Ferdinand Wanyonyi, Said Hirbai from Galole, Tana River, Majimbo Kalasinga from my constituency. I think some of them have gone back to parliament. I also have a leadership of my party from the mountain. Mama Hadija Mustafa, I don't know if she's here. That young girl is the director of elections of Fort Kenya Party. She comes from Kirinyaga. She's here with Stephen Dungu, chairman of Muranga. She's here with James Karimi, chairman of Nyeri. She's here with Mohammed, a vice chairman of Kirinyaga, and James Wambugu, chairman of Laikipia. We didn't invite everybody because we knew this was a restricted meeting, but those are the few that we have here. I want to end by saying this. Remember the good old song that we used to sing in school? kanyaga inji yako kwa nguvu na raha. Mnaikumbuka? So Mount Kenya and all other Kenyans, kanyaga inji yako kwa nguvu na raha, kwa sababu hilo ni hakikisho la OCA. Na hilo hakikisho tutalitekeleza vilivyo, liwe liwalo, mchana usiku, inyeshe isinyeshe. We will hold you and all other Kenyans, and we will work as your public trustees for the good of this country, to make sure that you matter the same way I matter, because that is the Kenya we must have. Thank you. May God bless you.
Na Senator, makofi tena kwa Senator. Na sasa kiongozi wa Mlembe, the party leader of Amani Congress Party, none other than Musalia Mudavadi. Karibu, makofi.
Mutongoria wega kweliro magana iguru kwa Ngai emwitirie maguta Kenya yothe riu theri ni monekui Mudavandia twike mutongoria witu Kenya yothe riu theri ni monekui Mudavandia twike mutongoria witu ANC ithe turenda thayu Kenya yothe Mudavadi tutongorie ANC tuthure maendeleo Mudavadi ni mutongoria mwendi andu ANC tuthure maendeleo Mudavadi ni mutongoria mwendi andu Engineer Maina wa mai kinya domereria Kenya yothe.
Asante sana. Okay. Can you applaud that team on my behalf? Thank you so much, ANC fraternity. Thank you so much. Now, let me start by acknowledging the leadership of the Mount Kenya Foundation, who have taken an extraordinary step in the current political dispensation to bring together Kenyans and parties for serious dialogue. Chairman Munga, Vice Chair Ibui, the directors, and all others who are associated with Mount Kenya Foundation, well done. This initiative is important because it is introducing a new way of interacting, a new way of sieving the leadership that Kenya is going to get. And finally, this process can lead to a very united nation. And I want to take this early opportunity to tell other stakeholders in this country, whether they are at the coast, whether they are in Western Kenya, whether they are in the Rift Valley, whether they are in Eastern Kenya, whether they are in Northern Kenya, let us borrow a leaf from the Mount Kenya Foundation in ensuring that there is proper dialogue without stone throwing, without jeering, but people listening to what others have to say. We want Kenyans to be persuaded by logic and not by the might of the gun or by the might of the stone. This is what we are looking for. As we move to the end of Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, we must ask ourselves a few fundamental questions. Who can you trust? Who can you trust? And I repeat, who can you trust with the leadership of this country? Examine us. How many of us respect the rule of law? How many of us will make sure that if Munga has won his election, we shall respect the will of the people? We must ask ourselves, who can you trust that given a position of authority, that individual, he or she, will not in any way misuse the office to visit hell and trouble on other Kenyans because they believe there's a grudge to settle? These are the questions that Kenyans want answered. And they cannot be answered if everybody is not being given space to communicate and articulate their ideas. So I stand here, and the first message is that let us not vote in fear. Whether it is for or against, let us develop a culture where we shall not vote in fear. If we respect constitutionalism, if we respect the rule of law, then nobody has anything to fear. And I want to guarantee to you that the leadership you are seeing in this room does not elicit fear on anybody. And we are not here to sell fear. So we must ask ourselves, what are the real challenges facing us? What are the real challenges facing us? My colleagues have spoken to some of them. But basically, right now, as we move forward, the economy is going to be a big challenge. And I've been speaking to this severally. Do we have a huge public debt? If there's anybody here who does not believe that we have a big public debt, then I don't know where you're living. We have it. So let's work together, put good leadership, and find a solution to that public debt. If we do not, it will consume us. That is why taxes are there, and they're increasing at a higher level, because the burden is big. Munga might now have to shed off some of his staff. Ibui may have to do the same. And indeed, COVID accelerated a lot of problems. Almost 2 million Kenyans lost their jobs. What do we do to give energy to Munga to bring back the ones he had to send home, or Ibui, and at the same time give him energy to employ even more? That is where we should be looking. The linkage between Mount Kenya Foundation, and I want to speak to this, the linkage between Mount Kenya Foundation and the other people we should find a way of bridging this gap. Because there are almost 20 million small and medium enterprises in this country. Those are the juakalis, those are the small traders. Why do they feel they want to resent us? Or they want to resent Mount Kenya Foundation when you should not be resented? It is because somewhere along the line, and the truth be told, some policies have been put in place and they have injured those people, and they tend to look at Mount Kenya as the ones who have hit them. If the Gikomba trader, through the spirit of Harambee or cooperation, were sharing a container under the principle of the less than container load arrangement, and we sit at the Treasury and we put a law that says they cannot cooperate, they can only bring in one container, if not, they are not in business. Gentlemen, who is creating resentment? Why are we setting up some of our people against other hard-working Kenyans? We should not allow this to happen. And that is what One Kenya stands for. We must embrace the big industrialist and also embrace the small business person. We must work together so that the pride of Mount Kenya can come back. And what pride am I talking about? Because their pride is Kenya's pride. When a farmer would pay school fees for the child, son or daughter, anaenda kusoma, analipa kwa sababu amepata pesa ya kutosha kutoka maziwa, pesa za kutosha kutoka majani chai, pesa za kutosha kwa kahawa, analipa, and that farmer would be proud and say, mimi nimesomesha mtoto wangu bila basari. Can you imagine that dignity? Mimi nimesomesha mtoto wangu bila basari. Right now, there are legislators here, and you must ask them just one question. If you were to put a benchmark, wouldn't it be interesting to say that this year I had a queue of 100 applicants for bursary, but because the economy has improved, now I have received only 50 applicants. Which means you are reducing the queue of those who are dependent. That is where we should be going. What can we do collectively? Borrowing from Equity Bank and others. What can we do to make sure that businessman in Kikomba, in Nyeri, in Meru, can have access to credit at a low interest rate so that they can feed themselves? This is the connection that seems to be missing between us and the ground today. This is why somebody is finding fertile ground to give a false impression that they have instant coffee solutions for those Kenyans who are suffering. The reality is, he does not have instant coffee solutions. They're not there. So we have to work. Kibaki said, we want a working nation. And he also said, obey the law. Whenever he was supposed to make a speech, and I remember that one, it was basically a one-liner speech when people were not obeying the law, Kibaki just sent a message and said, obey the law. And it was a headline. Full stop. I want to do something a little bit extraordinary here. Forgive me for this. But I want to request Gibson Gidhumbi, if you could just come here. He's a member of the Mount Kenya Foundation. Because I want us to debunk the message that the Mount Kenya Foundation I was his junior, his rebel. Others call him Mono, depending on which school you are in. But why have I brought him here? And listen to me carefully. Because, and bear with me, because it's a very important message for Kenya. Gibson's father had a kiosk at Westlands on Muthithi Road. And my father was also staying in Westlands. The kiosk is the one that educated Gibson. In Nairobi School. And for as long as I can remember, from that kiosk, Gibson was never sent away because his father had failed to pay school fees. Right now, Gibson is a big Ongata. What we want to achieve is not a hustling nation. This is what we want to achieve. Whether it is tea, whether it is coffee, whether it is milk. Our teachers are paid and we give them the necessary support. At the end of the day, the theme is peace and unity. To achieve growth, you need peace. To have a working economy for everybody, yani uchumi bora na pesa mfukoni, we need peace. However, to sustain the peace, you also need a working economy. They underpin each other. So for us to have peace, let us create jobs for people. For us to have peace, let the boda get the right return from his work. This is what we are going to do. Let everybody get what is rightfully theirs. I had Mugo, who we were in Laikipia with Twitter. He made a point. We want only 2 weeks ago. After the conflict, 13 years later, not everybody has gone back to their shamba. I came across ladies who are asking me, we don't know who even picks our tea in Baruch. And there are similar cases of this nature. We must have a clear agenda to make sure that we can restore hope in the lives of these people. These, ladies and gentlemen, are the messages that we want to put across. Let us eliminate violence at election time. And Weta was right. It is true. Through the Kofi Annan talks, I would say that you people of Mount Kenya, you have a solid lady in Martha Karua. Because as I was team leader on the other side, she was team leader on the other, and you guys, she's a tough negotiator. She doesn't blink. We want leaders that will not blink. We want leaders that will work with integrity. If Mount Kenya is as populous as we know it is, when it is resource allocation, let the resource allocation reflect that population. Let it reflect it. And equally, if there are challenges in other parts of the country, let us also find a way of compensating those extra challenges that may be in other parts of the country, so that everybody gets a fair chance. Let us make our judiciary work. Let justice be delivered on time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what One Kenya stands for. This is what we stand for. In 1982, there was the coup attempt. And some of us, at least I was one of them, we were rounded up. In a very strange way. A white Land Rover drove to Mululu at my mother's home. And in that Land Rover, there were about 5 well-fed men, hefty ones, who came in and they told my mother, "We want your son. He's actually a very good boy." This was at the university. And we'll bring him back. These guys took me away, and my mother never saw me for another 2 weeks. But I'm revisiting this because it is important that Kenyans also know that when there was that crisis, for 1 week before I found myself in Mululu, when my uncles were scared of taking me in because my father was in Mexico on duty, they were saying, just try and find your own way out. I actually went, through courtesy of a friend of mine who I were in school with, called Mukundi Wahome from Odhaya, and his father, Gideon Wahome, allowed me to stay in his house for 1 whole week in hibernation. That tells you that never go ethnic, never profile ethnically, because I was saved and hidden by somebody from Mount Kenya in Othaya when the chips were down and my own uncles were hiding. The message here is that we are one people. Let us hold hands and pull each other together. Let us change Kenya together. You cannot second guess Uhuru on matters of infrastructure in this country. You can't. He has done an extraordinary job. However, when I was in Meru, my Meru friends told me, when you go back to Nairobi and you have a chance to talk to Uhuru, tell him we are a little bit disturbed because the Mau Mau roads have not yet been completed on this side of Meru, but they are moving very well on the other side. And the Meru, our eastern side, also fought for our independence as Mau Mau. So basically, Rome cannot be built in a day. But here was a message that people are yearning for more development. Let us make Kenya stable so that we can also complete the Mau Mau roads on the other side of the mountain. And also roads in other parts of the country. The lady said, water is life. In fact, if I recollect, I think it was a message written by Jomo Kenyatta somewhere, that water is life. Let us also remind Kenyans that his or her vote is also life. We have reached a stage where the vote is also life. Siasa mbaya, Gideon, I know you have the rights to that one. Siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. So let us move. My final message to the young people. I'll request, with your indulgence, that just 2 young people come here. One is called Kamau Gikuru, and the other is Mungare. It will come. Let me say this, because there was even a young girl who said that she had not found a partner yet. Maybe I've brought 2 partners here very close to you. Okay, why do I bring these 2 young men here? Because I want to send a very clear message that we as elders, and I'm talking as an elder in their context, not in the context of our PC or Munga, but in the context of these young men. Why I'm bringing them here is because our experience should not be used to suppress the youth. We should not constantly remind the youth that wewe ni kijana, wewe ni mtoto. No. Let us bring them into the fold. Gikuru here is the Secretary General of ANC party. He is from Muranga. This other gentleman, Mungare, is from Nyamira, Kisii. He is head of ICT and digitization matters in the party. If you want to work with the youth, give them responsibility. Let us not pontificate and keep on saying your time is tomorrow. No, their time is now. Thank you. So, in conclusion, I repeat to the Mount Kenya Foundation, when you go home, ask yourself, who can you trust? Who can you trust? When you sleep, who can you trust? If you are a businessman in Nairobi and you are a landlord, how do you feel when your houses have been occupied and you have never gotten restitution for those houses. These are the questions. Who can you trust? Who can you trust? Who can you trust? Who can you trust? God bless Mount Kenya Foundation, and let us work together.
Mudavandia, tuike mutongoria witu Kenya yothe. Riutheri ni munekui Mudavandia, tuike mutongoria witu ANC. Ithe turenda thayu.
All right. Let's wind up. Before I give up the microphone, may I just recorrect on two issues after all that. Two issues. One of them is, why is Mount Kenya agitated? Mount Kenya is agitated, Cyrus Jirongo, because we are not going to field our own candidate. And we know we are exposed for reasons we have given. Number two, I want to tell you, we have done statistics. The economy of Rwanda, Burundi, and Southern Sudan cannot match the economy of Mount Kenya region. And yet, we the governors of Mount Kenya, the 11 governors, we cannot be able to give our kids, brilliant university kids, more than 10,000 from bursary, because we are not getting our fair share. When Ram is giving 100,000, Wambara is giving 10,000 or 5,000. That cannot continue. That's why we are afraid. Number two, this beautiful lady we are hearing is not worried, getting more warriors, uniting. Because the love we are talking about, Senator Gideon, si ile love ya mapenzi, ni ile love God they love, ile Jesus was preaching, love your neighbor. We have a lot of love, and we just want more and more of you to unite so that we are assured of our future. We have not changed our boundaries in Mount Kenya region for the last 25 years. Please promise us, if you get these positions, within 100 days, you'll just make sure that happens. Mwisho kabisa. It is the issue of one man, one sharing, 1/4. One person, 1/4, one sharing. Asanteni sana, Bwana Impwe, endelea.
Thank you so much, Governor of Embu. I want to thank, our chief guests, the 5 of you, for what you have done and told us. You have more than met our expectation. We'll take up some of your counsel, that we promise. We'll take that as a good critique and a calling for this country, for all of us. I just want to say 2 things. One, the Mount Kenya people know the responsibilities, as Bwana Gideon Moi said. But we also know 2 other responsibilities beside what you told us. One, as Mount Kenya people, we know we'll give direction to the country as far as our political direction is concerned. That's a responsibility we will not want to abdicate. 2, as ourselves, as Mount Kenya people, wherever we live, wherever we go, we give dignity to our differences. Whether you are Muslim, we respect you, because we also expect you to respect us as a Christian or as an atheist. Whether you are white or black, we respect our differences. We give our differences the dignity that it deserves. That's why we're able to live we live anywhere in the corner of this world. My last remark, I think after this, I ask the directors of Mount Kenya to come out there and have a photo with the 5 principals together. Then I'll call Mheshimiwa Honorable Marende to come and give a vote of thanks, because we are the people who invited them. They are the ones to give us thanks. But before that, most of you would be wondering, then where are we going to from here? And let me articulate where we are going to from here. We've listened to you. 2 weeks ago, we listened to Raila Amolo Odinga in this same room. We have heard you. We have not yet chosen a preferred candidate. As Mount Kenya Foundation, as Mount Kenya people, we have no preferred candidate. What we have done with these 2 events is to ask you as Oka team, get out into the Mount Kenya. We have given you the key to walk into Mount Kenya and they preach your gospel, preach your policies. Some of them you have articulated there, and then you convince the people. The process we follow as the people in this region to make a decision. Once you talk to them, or once you talk to us, we will deliberate and we will go to Limuru 3 as a community of Gema Nation. We will go to Limuru 3 and make a decision who we are going to support as a community. That is our process that we are going to follow. So get out and tell your policies. So to us, we only ask you one thing as Oka team. We ask you only one thing: respect our president. If you don't respect our president, you call him names, you say what? No, Mount Kenya people will not be with you. Uhuru to us is more than a Linda. He is a Mudamaki. And it's important you as Oka team, you realize that. Respect our president. With this, I want to say thank you all for coming, and thank you for the wise ones that you have given to us. We have taken notes and we move forward. So before I call Honorable Marende, I want to call the Mount Kenya Foundation and the 5 principals to come over here for a photo. Only those people, the principals plus the directors of Mount Kenya Foundation.